Hello and welcome back. So here we are within Microsoft Visio, and if we are getting started for the very first time working with creating the various visualizations we simply want to see within your environment, there are quite a number of ways to go about it. If you do not have an image or some sort of diagramming that is already existing, it might mean that you have to start from scratch, bringing each and every device and every piece that you need within the canvas. But if you do, maybe it is in a PDF file or some JPEG file somewhere, you can easily use it as a reference point. For example, over here, I can simply go ahead and add another page. The same way you would add pages within Excel, where you have multiple sheets at the bottom, you can actually do the same over here. Notice that we have page 1 over here and we have page 2. So over my page 2, on this other side, I can bring in an image. If I go to insert, click on pictures and locate my image, I'll be able to bring it into this area like so and use this as a point of reference. So let's assume that we have this picture somewhere. So we simply want to bring everything into Visio now for easy collaboration and sharing of the various visualizations of our project. We then could use this image as a point of reference in the process of building this visualization. Now, as we move the image itself, you would notice that the canvas also morphs into different sizes and shapes. Now, that actually has much to do with orientation. So if we click and hold and drag that image to a desired position, you would notice that the canvas again changes. Now, if you simply want to maybe work with a portrait, or you simply want to work on a landscape-based kind of canvas, you can simply make these movements as desired. Now, if this is not auto-changing within your environment, what you simply have to do is to go to the Design tab. There in the tab section, click on Design and you find Orientation. Now, orientation allows you to have options such as Portrait, if you simply want the canvas to be in portrait sort of orientation, or if you simply want to change it to landscape like it were previously, you can simply make those changes as desired. All right, so why don't we begin bringing in some of those devices? So I'll simply go ahead and reposition this. And in this area, if we go to our pen, I can actually check for devices such as laptops. So if I'm looking for endpoints that I simply want to add within my canvas, I could simply go and click and hold on those laptops, drag them into the area where I simply want to work with them. Now, you'll notice that the moment I bring them in and we have two or more similar devices, they sort of auto-align, informing you that the size of those devices seem to be similar, or they're simply accurately positioned in terms of their geometrical positioning, rather than us just guessing by our eyes. All right, so we might simply want to have maybe more of those later, but let's just work with these for now. And you could see that we can actually work with multiple devices. For example, if we simply want to have servers within an environment, we can simply type servers in that shapes search area. We have our servers, we'll simply drag them in. And it's also good when you're working with these devices, if you simply want to resize them at once. For example, if we simply want to resize all these devices at once, we could simply click in an open area and drag, and notice that this will actually be encapsulated in some form of border. And we can simply use any of these handles over here to enlarge those devices at once. So this simply helps us to maintain that uniformity as we continue working with these devices within this particular environment. And as we continue working, we might simply want to go ahead and maybe check whether what we have so far aligns with what we're seeing within our diagram. So I'm going to go ahead and pull in some cloud or internet. And then we have some cloud options. We'll simply drag and drop into our canvas, that we'll be able to work on those as time goes. Now, the devices that you might have searched previously, if you click on this drop-down arrow, would also be listed in that area, which makes it easier for you when you're trying to repeat a device or bring a device that you searched previously. You can simply go ahead and search for it like so, and then drag it into the working area where you simply want to see that device. Now, other than us just searching each and every time we need a device or something added within our canvas, we can also go to more shapes over there. And this allows us to use the different categories that are listed over here to bring in the devices or the charts that we simply want to see within our area. Like in this particular case, we're simply working with networking. So if we go to network over there, that brings us lots of devices that are listed in different categories. We even have some cloud from Amazon, AWS. We also have some Azure devices that we can simply bring in from that particular area, which is actually cool because this makes it more practical as we begin working within our canvas. So let's say we simply want to have some network room elements or some network locations or things like that. We can simply bring those in from this particular area. So the easiest way for me has always been to search, because once I have worked within Visio, you'd actually notice that most of the devices that I've added previously would be easier to access, and I can easily work faster that way as compared to going to these categories or domains each and every time I'm looking for a device and begin researching. And sometimes I may actually want to change even things such as the themes and colors of those devices, etc. So over here, I simply want a switch, but I want something better than this. You'd notice that some of these visuals are not as great, but if you take your time and try to find something that is more aligned with what you really want to see within your environment, you're most likely to find something that looks greater. So in this case, I'll simply bring in a switch from there. Okay, I'll bring that switch over there, and maybe just bring another one in case we need to use that as we progress. We also need an access point or a wireless router. Let's see what we get when we search for that within our environment. All right, so we've got a wireless access point over here. We'll just drop that there, and we need a camera. I saw somewhere where they said IP camera. So let's see what we get when we say camera over there. Oh, there we go. So we've got some camera options, and some of these are actually digital cameras, video cameras, which do not accurately mirror what we want to have within our environment. Oh, there's something. Got some PTZ cameras. I believe that is an accurate representation of an IP camera. So just drag that and put it in here. Okay, so it should be easy if somebody's looking at this within this particular Visio presentation. They should be able to tell at the very first time they see that that device is what it is. And if it seems a bit misleading, I would strongly advise that you bring in some labels. And this is where you'd now want to go and label some of these. So what I would usually do when labeling these is to simply use the text editor option that is here. From your home tab, you go to text, and from here you can simply create that, and that allows you to simply say, hey, this is an IP camera, so every time you see it, you shouldn't really be, surprised. So I would simply drag that to a desired position to make sure that our camera is closely aligned with the device that we simply want to label as a camera. Now, sometimes these might not really be greatly presented. So when we share this, whether as a PDF or when we print this, we should make sure that everything that we simply want to see within this particular area is added. All right, there are other devices that are actually in this original, image that we have over here that may take us time to actually add. But finally, before we can just get rid of that image itself, I want us to add some servers. So if we go ahead and look for servers, let's go over here and look for servers. There we have it. We should be able to bring a few servers within this environment and begin positioning everything that we have so far accurately within our canvas. All right, so the different types of servers that are provided over here, and here are some application servers. Simply bring that in. What else did they show us? Okay, I saw web app. Oh, quite a lot of stuff. Some Azure database, Azure SQL. All right, so depending on what exactly you simply want to see within your environment, just make sure that you pick that. And if something isn't well labeled or maybe well designed to be identified easily by other stakeholders or people that you'll be working with, make sure that you give that particular device a label. Join me in the next one as we conclude working with network and infrastructure topologies within Visio.